ये किसका माइक म्यूट नहीं है? पवन कुमार का म्यूट नहीं है। अब हो गया। थर्टी फोर। क्लास स्ट्रेंथ इज 34। नहीं, एक एक बात नहीं समझ में आती मुझे। क्लास स्ट्रेंथ है 75+, और हमारे पास स्टूडेंट हैं 38 एट प्रेजेंट। कहाँ है और सब? क्या फायदा अगर घर से आप लोग ऑनलाइन क्लास नहीं अटेंड कर सकते तो? टीचर की तो आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि टाइम से आ जाए, स्टार्ट करे। स्टूडेंट का क्या फर्ज है? हम्म। फिर यही बच्चे कहेंगे कि सर आपने पढ़ाया नहीं। क्या बोलना चाहते हो आप लोग, बताओ। कुछ सिंसियर बच्चे हैं, वो तो हमेशा की तरह ऑनलाइन है जो मैं देख रहा हूँ, और कुछ हैं वो आते ही नहीं है। क्या फायदा बताओ? कुछ फायदा है घर में क्लास आप हो, क्लास अटेंड नहीं कर रहे हो, क्या फायदा? बोलो कौन बोलेगा? अभी मैं पढ़ा नहीं रहा फिलहाल, अभी स्टार्ट करूंगा। 38 स्टूडेंट को क्या पढ़ाऊं? शुभम सिंह डांगी। शुभम शुभम सिंह डांगी कहाँ है? कल्पिता, आर यू देर? हाँ शुभम, कहाँ हो तुम? मैं बात करना चाह रहा हूँ तुमसे। एनीबडी कैन हियर मी? कल्पिता।
Yes, sir.
तो शुभम क्यों नहीं सुन पा रहा है मुझे? शुभम डांगी।
Don't use analytics mode. Network issue.
ओके। तो कौन मिस बीटेक वाले? मुझे लग रहा है कि ऑनलाइन नहीं है। 50 बच्चे तो वही हैं। और कौन है ये? दिनेश कुमार प्रजापत।
यस सर।
क्या भाई भैया, मेरा क्वेश्चन का जवाब दो।
सर वो 37 लोग अटेंड कर रहे हैं सर, धीरे धीरे अटेंड करेंगे, पता नहीं सर।
नहीं नहीं, ये कोई तरीका नहीं है ना। ठीक बात थोड़ा ही है, बताओ गलत है ना ये। तुम
क्योंकि सर देखो सर, मंडे वाली क्लास में सर 50 लोग थे सर,
हाँ,
और आज वाली क्लास में 37 है।
ये तो धीरे धीरे पहुंच जाएगा, मुझे पता है 50 पहुंच ही जाएगा आज भी, क्योंकि 9 10 तक 50 होना ही होना है कम से कम।
हाँ सर।
मतलब कोई फायदा नहीं है ना, क्लास में स्ट्रेंथ है 75+। अभी अभी 37 है सिर्फ। चलो हिमांशु अपना माइक, हिमांशु
यस सर।
बताओ क्या बात है भैया।
सर आप ही बोल रहे थे आज विश्वकर्मा डे है तो सब छुट्टियां मना रहे होंगे।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो बात ठीक है मेरी। मैं कैसे अकेला बनाऊंगा छुट्टियां, तुम सबके ही साथ तो बनाऊंगा।
हाँ सर, वो प्लेसमेंट्स भी आ रहे हैं सर फाइनल ईयर वालों के, तो उसमें भी बिजी है सर बहुत।
लेकिन यार ये फिर तुम आप लोग ही कमेंट गंदे लिखते हो, मुझे देख समझ में आ रहा है। कमेंट भी आप गंदे देते हो।
सर वो बात तो गलत है सर, ऐसा तो नहीं करना चाहिए बच्चों को।
फिर बताओ हमारे हमारी टीचर की गलती क्या है, ये बताओ आज।
सर मतलब कुछ तो बच्चे हो ही जाते हैं सर, अब सबका तो नहीं बोल सकते। काफी अच्छे भी कमेंट्स लिखते हैं सर आपके बारे में।
नहीं नहीं, हमारे बारे में नहीं, हम तो सब फैकल्टी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। ठीक है।
हाँ हाँ।
लेकिन लेकिन फिर भी आ, थोड़ा सा मतलब अटेंडेंस रखना चाहिए, नहीं तो फिर क्या करोगे एग्जाम में। एग्जाम थोड़ा सा टफ आता है, ये बताऊं मैं।
हाँ
प्रैक्टिस
सर।
प्रैक्टिस करोगे तभी हो पाएगा। अब मैंने जैसे लास्ट क्लास में जितनी भी क्लास हुई है, असाइनमेंट्स वगैरह दिए हैं, ये सब दिए हैं, वो लोग अगर नहीं करेंगे ना तो वो एग्जाम में कर नहीं पाएंगे। मैं सही बताऊं, मतलब किसी से छुपा नहीं है ये चीज है।
हाँ सर, इस
कार
पे तो एग्री करते हैं सर।
हाँ चलो ठीक है हिमांशु। कार्तिक रमेश अय्यर, कार्तिक कैन यू हियर मी?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, एनीथिंग यू हैव टू से?
No, sir. Nothing to add. But just that maybe people are busy with the placements. That is a possibility.
So placement, when it will be over?
Sir, the test will be starting maybe in around 2 weeks. So
But
maybe
when,
that's why they are.
okay, okay. But when it will be over? Karthik?
Yes, sir. The test will like go on right up till the interviews will start. Like that starts
Means
in December.
I think it will end in the next year. I am correct? Your placements will complete till next year.
Well, the first phase should end by December.
Okay. So दिसंबर तो कोर्स ही खत्म हो जाएगा कार्तिक।
Yes, I understand, sir.
सितंबर है अभी तो, अक्टूबर नवंबर दिसंबर, ये तो दिस कोर्स विल बी ओवर। अभी 39 है, अभी नो इम्प्रूवमेंट 40। इसमें टाइम का आता है क्या ऑप्शन में कि कौन कब अटेंड किया, शायद आता है। तो एक तो हार्ड पॉलिसी अप्लाई करनी पड़ेगी मुझे लग रहा है, कि जो 9-10 के बाद ज्वाइन कर रहा है उसकी एब्सेंट मानेंगे हम। ठीक है, आप लोग सोच के मुझे बताना नेक्स्ट क्लास में। अगर आप फॉलो नहीं करेंगे तो मैं वो वाला रूल फॉलो कर लूंगा कि आफ्टर 9-10 के बाद अगर ज्वाइन करते हो तो दैट विल बी कंसीडर एज एब्सेंट। नेक्स्ट क्लास में मुझे बताना। चलो
अटेंडेंस के मार्क्स रख दो सर 20 to 30।
नया मार्क्स तो रखे ही हैं, मार्क्स तो मैंने बताया था शुरू में। हैं?
और वेटेज बढ़ा दो।
वेटेज तो अगर आओगे नहीं तो बढ़ा देंगे। ठीक है, कौन बोल रहा है? बहुत बढ़िया, थैंक यू।
दिनेश सर।
ऐ शाबाश दिनेश, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी। तो भैया सोच लो, अगले वीक से या तो वेटेज बढ़ेगा या आपकी परसेंट ये अटेंडेंस की परसेंटेज बढ़ेगी। तो नेक्स्ट वीक विल टेक दिस डिसीजन। ठीक है, अभी के लिए मैं छोड़ रहा हूँ तुम लोगों पे। अच्छा ठीक है, चलो बहुत हो गया आज, अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं। Okay, now I hope you can see my slide, right? यस नो बोल दिया करो, क्योंकि
Yes,
मुझे
sir.
पता नहीं
Yes,
लगता है
sir.
असल में, है ना? ठीक है, थैंक यू। क्योंकि साइड में पता नहीं लगता ना कि क्या दिख रहा है कि नहीं क्या दिख रहा है, so it is better to tell yes no at least. So okay, we started 1D steady state heat conduction problem in the next class, or in the previous class, sorry. Or we have discussed this is a rectangular fin. I am just giving you the brief introduction of this problem because today we have to learn the discretization by using the finite difference approach, and also we'll see the solution part also. So today agenda is not a lengthy one, but it is very important to understand the thing. So this is base temperature. This is okay, I can start my pointer also. Okay, so this is base temperature. T node value is known to us. This is the Nyman condition. It means temperature at this boundary we need to find out. Here the temperature is known. And also we have to investigate only the X variation in this rectangular domain. And also if you see the problem statement, we have considered the steady state also. And we have seen this equation, or this is the an equation to describe the previous problem, or a rectangular fin problem. And it is important to know or learn P is the perimeter. So if the circular cross section is different, then this perimeter would be the different one. Similarly, the cross section area, thermal conductivity, we have assumed the constant. Now all these things we know. The main agenda here is, first we have converted the dimensional equation into the dimensionless form. Okay, so please keep this picture in your mind that we are having a second order derivative, and ml square, this is, you can consider the constant one, and m square value is given as hp by ka. So this is a simple equation. You just keep in mind because we have to use it when we do the discretization. And these are your boundary conditions at the base and at the tip of the fin, right? Now see, this is the interesting part and the important part of any CFD problem. So for instance, here we are having a 1D steady state problem, and I just said that you have to keep in mind this second order equation, differential equation. So to do any treatment under discretization process, we first know that we are having a rectangular domain, and in the beginning what you can see, or what are the availability of the points which you can see, or you are having the boundary points, left boundary or the base point, and at the tip, right point. Okay, but you don't have the information of all the interior points. Okay, if you can see, we can see some 6 points that I would call here as interior point. Okay, but the points would depend upon how many number of points you have given, or in other words, what grid size you have given for the solution of the problem. For instance, I just refer to the grid size of delta x as 0.25. Okay, so if I consider delta x as 0.25, then what would be the value of m? M कितना होगा? M is the number of points over which we are seeking the values of the temperature. मीन्स क्या करना है हमें, मीन्स इन a simple sense we have to solve this equation for theta, okay, and means theta we have to calculate or determine, and we have to determine the value of theta at some points other than, or you can including boundary points at the interior points also. So my question is very simple: if delta x is 0.25, so what value of m is, means how many points we are having in the domain?
8 sir.
8 नहीं होगा, अरे इसको देख के नहीं बोलो, ये गलत है. Don't look out this mesh size. I have given you the example of delta x as 0.25.
4.
No. Okay, 4 is correct in that sense that we are calculating the values at the 4 points. But total how many points we are having? 5. 5 correct है ना? Please, I think you just try to justify yourself. Consider this is of length 1. ठीक है? Now we started at base point, it is 0, located at 0. Then at some point, let's say here 0.25, then some at the middle point 0.5, then 0.75 and 1. So how many total number of points you are having in this domain, irrespective of the boundary conditions? Now it is clear, if delta x is 0.25, then what would be the value of capital M or total number of points in the domain?
5, sir.
It is clear, na? If you, I hope you understood, or shall I repeat the thing?
हाँ सर, रिपीट कीजिएगा सर.
अच्छा ठीक है, अभी हमने द slab problem देखी थी बाउंड्री कंडीशन में. We have seen a slab problem. So there also I have considered delta x as 0.25, the same thing. So if this length, please follow me, just I go back to the problem statement. Consider this is our 1, or the dimensionless of this fin is 1 in x direction, and now we are creating points in between the two boundaries by giving a spacing of delta x as 0.25. So now x is your x plus delta x. ठीक है? So here it is the start, so you can start from 0. Now you just add as 0 plus 0.25, here you will getting 0.25. Now here the grid size would be, or you just add 0.25 again, you will be having middle point 0.5, then 0.75 and 1. Or roughly in a very crude sense, you just say you have to divide this in a 5 points. So what would be the grid spacing? 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, like that. So total 5 number of points you will be having. Now it is clear?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay. Now come to this problem. The grid spacing is different here, but we will learn here keeping the example of m as 5 and delta, the distance between the 2 points is 0.25. So any interior point we will denote as I, as we did in the expressions. So you have seen the function, we had a function y equals to fx, and we are seeking solution at x I plus 1, x I minus 1. Okay. So the same story is here, means we have to discretize the Taylor series expansion in such a way that we can approximate a second order derivative. So I told you at that point that we are not doing the Taylor series expansion. We are just using the discretized approximation of the second order derivative. I hope you can see I am encircling the second order derivative, and we are not writing the error associated with it. Okay. So let's say at some interior point, or this you can say the step 1. So under step 1, you just consider any interior point I. It could be any point, or if you can see the 6 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are my interior points. And this is my boundary point, left boundary, and this is my right boundary point. So you will see in the subsequent slide or during this course, I will be writing the equations, 3 equations or the 3 sets of equations. First for the interior points, and one for this left boundary and one for this right boundary. Or in general, one for the interior point, one for the surface points, and one for some other points, for example, corner points in a 2D or 3D case. Means for the timing, you could just understand that thus step 1 is to write the discretized equation for the interior point, and second is for left boundary, and third one is for the right boundary. Now this is the equation. First step is I will write a equation for the interior point. Okay. Or at any interior point, this would be at I, and this is of course all the terms at I, but this is constant, so it will be independent of this I, no effect of I. So that is why we can write this form as you can see here. So now what I did simply, because this is a second order derivative, and also we are here, and I mentioned you when we are in the interior points, then the availability of the points we are having left hand side and also in the right hand side. And other reason is also that the accuracy of the central difference is more as compared to the forward difference and the backward difference. So I just, because I know it is simple to remember also, theta I minus 1 minus 2 times theta I plus 1 divided by delta x square. And this is simply ml square is a constant, no effect, and this would be a theta equals to 0. So simply I can write this equation. Okay. And to be noted that this equation is applicable at all the points. Means this equation would be applicable at the left boundary or the right boundary or for the interior points. Now we have to simplify the situations, because we know that at left hand side we already know the temperature value. Temperature is given as T0, or some value is already known to us. Let's say 0 degree is given. So it means the number of unknowns, for example, if I start from this theta to this theta. So this equation would be applicable from I equals to 2 to m. So you can start your counter, because when we do the programming also, we know how to start I equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. And now you just try to understand that this is the compact form. Okay. And I is varying from this point to the last point. And now I have given you capital M as 5, means delta x, if delta x is 0.25, then 5 m is 5. So 2 I equals to 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will be presenting the 4 equations. Okay, I hope it is very clear to us. So when you will write for I equals to 2, so this will be coming out theta 1, this theta 2, theta 3. Similarly for I equals to 4, this will be theta 3, theta 4 and theta 5. Okay. Now come to when I equals to m or I equals to 5. Now this will become theta as 4. Theta 4 is over here. For instance, you just consider that the spacing between these 2 points as 0.25. So this is theta 4. For instance, I am assuming the distance between these 2 points is 0.25. So this is theta 4. This is theta 5. Now this is theta 6. So theta 6 is lying outside this domain. Okay. So this theta 6 at I equals to m, where m equals to 5, or in a general sense you can say theta m plus 1. If you write this equation at I equals to m, this will be theta m minus 1, theta m plus 1. Now theta m plus 1 always lying outside this domain. So this point I would say as a fictitious point, or you can say that is a imaginary point. So all the imaginary points, this is the thumb rule, all the imaginary point must be written in the form of the real points. Okay, because we have to do the calculations considering the real point, not the fictitious points. So it means this equation for boundary point theta or I equals to m, I have to simplify separately. So at I equals to m, I will write this equation. And also now you also having a boundary condition at the right hand side. So the right hand side boundary condition is, you just see this or this theta d theta dx at I am writing here at I equals to capital M equals to 0. I hope it is understood by you. Okay, d theta by dx at I equals to M equals to 0. So now the situation is okay. Means I will be having 4 equations. 3 for the interior points. Interior points you just see I equals to 1. I know the temperature. For I equals to 2, 3 and 4. There is no problem at all from this equation. But when I come to I equals to M or I equals to 5, then there is some problem, means we are getting the fictitious point. So this fictitious point we have to simplify along with the boundary condition available at the right hand side. Okay. So now you will see that this boundary conditions we have to taken into account to simplify these situations, because in equation number 4 we also have to have real points, not the imaginary points. Okay, one more thing you can understand that capital D is your constant. I have not called D many times, so you can understand that. If you simplify this equation, you will be getting D equals to 2 plus ml square. M square you know already, that is HP by Ka. L is the length of this rectangular fin, and delta X is the grid size. Okay. So now in the next slide you will see this equation I have simplified for I point, for I equals to M. Okay. And now you can see the presence of the fictitious or imaginary point. Now our job is to replace this imaginary point with the real points. So there are 2 cases here. Okay. Or remedy 1 is we can use a image point technique. Okay. And there is another remedy also in the next slide you will see. Means what are the possible solutions you are having? So image point technique means if I consider the variation from this point of temperature from theta m minus 1, the same variation from here to here and from point m to m plus 1. Okay, you just see the diagram. Means in image point technique, you are assuming that the temperature is varying from point theta m minus 1 to m like this, and just mirror image of it from point m to point m plus 1. Okay, this is we say that image point technique, and under this condition image point technique, what the simplicity is that we will find here theta m plus 1 would be equals to the theta m minus 1 by assuming the same variation. The temperature will also vary in the same way. So this situation mathematically you can obtain if you do the central difference approximation at the right hand side boundary. ठीक है? So this is at right hand boundary I just mentioned. You just consider here, or you just write here theta d theta by dx at I equals to m equals to 0. Now you just discretize this by using central difference. So by central difference, you if you can recall, we generally write theta I plus 1 minus theta I minus 1 divided by 2 delta x equals to 0. Okay, if you follow me, so what we are getting for I equals to m, theta m plus 1 minus theta m minus 1 divided by 2 delta x equals to 0. So after simplification, you can write this as theta m plus 1 equals to theta m minus 1. Means when you do the central difference approximation at right hand boundary or at I equals to m point, you have got the solution of the fictitious. Means you can write fictitious point as the real point. And this is the same thing what we did in the image point technique. So whenever you are getting this opportunity or the single order derivative, at least you just replace fictitious point here with the help of imaginary point as theta m minus 1, or this is nothing but we are obtained with the help of the central differencing. Okay, so now this equation in a simply way you can write, now this will become theta m minus 1. So now the fourth equation or the equation at I equals to m would be 2 times theta m minus 1 minus d theta m, because this will become as theta m minus 1. So theta m plus 1, I put it here as theta m minus 1. So this will be written as 2 times theta m minus 1 minus d theta m equals to 0. So now you are having the 4 equations, and you just see that we do not have any fictitious point in the equations. Okay, this is the remedy 1, that is the image point technique. And also we have maintained the order of accuracy overall of second order. So for the interior points, we have used the central differencing of order 2, order h square you can say. And here also we have employed the image point technique, or we have just discretized this derivative with the help of the central difference. So here also we have maintained the same order of order h square. So overall order is h square. Now the other remedy could be, you just see what are the points available to us. So here we are having a Neumann condition, and the availability of the points is left hand side to the desired point. So here you will be using which differencing equation you will be using other than central difference?
Backward differencing.
Okay. And now the question is, What order of backward differencing you will be using? The simple or there could be two answers to this question. So first is means first before the example, first the availability of the point is left hand side to the desired point. So it is clear that we are using a backward differencing. Now the question is, we are having a boundary condition this or this. So the option is, one option is you are using a first order derivative. Okay, theta I minus theta I minus 1 divided by h square equals to 0. Or the second option is you would be using a backward differencing scheme which is of second order accuracy. Can you hear me? हेलो
यस सर।
Yes, sir.
किसने म्यूट
Yes,
किया
sir.
था मुझे? किसी ने म्यूट किया था मुझे? प्लीज ये गलती ना करें आप। आपकी वजह से मैं यहाँ पे बैठा हूँ, ठीक है? So please understand this and respect the teacher who is teaching at least. Okay. Because most of you would be in this line in the future. Don't do this. The same thing will repeat. Okay. Okay, please follow me. Okay, this disturbed me. Now we just come to the point. I mentioned you the remedy number 2. So remedy number 2 would be you are using a backward differencing, and in remedy 2 you are having two options. One is the you can use the backward differencing of first order accurate, and second you can use a backward differencing of second order. If you are using a first order derivative approximation, then your all solution will be converted to the order of accuracy of h. But if you are using a backward differencing of second order accurate, then again you are maintaining the same accuracy of the solution. So the right choice is you must use the second order backward differencing to maintain the order of accuracy as we are having given in the central differencing. So okay, you just see this is the remedy 2. So here what we did, I have given both the alternates. Why we are not going to use the first order accurate backward differencing? So we are using the second order accuracy backward differencing. So second order means you have to include the desired point m and the back point and far back point as m minus 2. But for this you have to derive this if you want to use. Okay. Derive means simply you can just expand this theta m minus 1 and theta m minus 2 and you write your first order derivative in such a way that you will be getting the order of accuracy delta x square. So I suggested in the class you must have to remember the first order differencing and the second order differencing. In the case of central differencing, backward differencing and the forward differencing. So higher order I have not suggested that you have to remember. So that is why I said that you can derive it and you can use it. So this is the final fourth equation now. Okay. So now we are having 4 equations. Why 4 equations? Because we have considered m equals to 5 or in other words, you have considered a grid spacing of delta x as 0.25. So now summary, you just see the summary of the equations here with the help of equation number 4.7. This is the point I equals to 1 where solution is known to us. No need to write, but as a summary you can see here known, this is known, temperature is known. Now for the interior points, I is varying from 2, 3 and 4. So this will give you the three equations because m is our 5, so this will be m minus 1 will become 4. So 2, 3, 4. And now this is the last equation. We have simplified. Why we have simplified? Because we have got the imaginary point here. So that imaginary point we have converted with the real points. That's why we got 2 times of it. And this is my point I equals to m. So now in the beginning I mentioned you that there are 3 steps in general you have to write or you have to think of. First one, you should write or discretize your equation, whatever equation is given to you for the interior points. And now look for the boundaries. What are the boundaries available to us? This is left boundary and bottom one is that is the right boundary. So all the 3 steps or all the points we have covered by way of these equations. Now next job is to write these equation in the form of the matrix representation. Okay. So this is the capital D. If you can recall, the capital D is capital D equals to 2 plus ml square into delta x square. So that is a constant. You can easily determine the value of this. And now we are not writing for theta equals to 1 for I equals to 1. So not to confuse yourself, you just see this must be theta 2, theta 3, theta 4 and theta 5. Okay, if you just see theta 1 we already know. So but these are the points starting from theta 2 to theta 4. And if you just try to simplify this equation for I equals to 2, you will get this equation, and for 3 you will get this equation, for 4 you, and for 5 you just see if you are having I equals to 5, so this will be minus D and this would be 2. And generally because of the stability reasons, diagonal we don't write the negative, so that we multiplied by the negative sign or we have taken common. So that is why you just see here this is 2 and this is D, or you just multiply by minus 2 plus D, so minus D 2 D. So you can easily write this equation. So now we'll also can see what type of equations available to us, or simply I can say from this also, but for you it would be very easy. You just see we are having a main diagonal and then we are having a upper diagonal and then we are having also the lower diagonal. So now the question is what type of matrix it has. So okay, this is a tridiagonal matrix. Tridiagonal, have you heard of tridiagonal matrix? Okay, tridiagonal because we are having a main diagonal, then upper diagonal and the lower diagonal. That's why you are saying that it is a tridiagonal matrix. Now in the next class we will be discussing about the method of solutions, and in this slide also you can see what I mean to say, that what do you mean by the tridiagonal matrix. So next class you will see how these equations we can solve, and you will see the 3 methods, or means I mean to say that only 3 methods we are discussing here. but there are several other methods also present in the literature. So one method you will see the Gauss elimination method. Second method is your TDMA method or TDMA, or in other words you can say the Thomas algorithm. And third method is a Gauss-Seidel method. And before Gauss-Seidel method you will also see the Jacobi method. And means you will also realize why Jacobi method is not preferred and why Gauss-Seidel is preferred. Okay, so we'll see all these methods in the next class. And now I will stop here. And if you have any questions, you can ask now. Any questions you have?
सर वो मैट्रिक्स थोड़ा सा मतलब एक बार रिपीट कीजिएगा.
Okay. This one?
Yes sir.
Okay. So now it is very clear that you can really understand that. For instance, here we are having m equals to 5. Why m equals to 5? First of all, because delta x we have considered as 0.25. Now you can realize delta x actually what happened in the previous year, what we did, or in my class what I did, I have given you in the class that if I consider delta x as 0.25, then simplify this problem in the class itself. So for classroom exercise, it is very good example. You just consider I equals to 0.25. But if I fix I equals to, or if I just say the grid spacing of 0.2 only or 0.1 only, then you just realize how many points we are having in the computational domain. Okay, so if I just give you delta x as 0.1, so then you just think of how many number of points or number of equations we have to simplify. So this is okay. You just I am giving you a very simple question for all of you. Here we have considered delta x as 0.25. Now I am giving you two grid spacings. Delta x is 0.1 and second one is delta x as 0.01. Now you have to tell how many equations we have to simplify. And also can we simplify those equations in the class if I consider I equals to, or if I consider delta x is 0.1 and second is delta x is as 0.01. I hope this is clear to all. Clear my question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes sir.
So I will ask you this in the next class, but for the time being, you asked about this matrix. So m is 5. I have given so many times why we are having m. This is we know at I equals to 1. And this is the equation representing 3 equations. And this is the fourth equation which is at the tip. So 3 equations. These are the 3 equations. First, second, and third. And this one is the fourth equation. An example of fourth, I already said that you just replace this. This is theta 2, theta 3, theta 4 and theta 5. Okay. So this is theta 5. And we have to write the last equation. So this is, or you just also multiply with the minus sign. So this is 2 times theta 4. 2 times theta 4 equals to 0. And this is d times theta 5. So d times theta 5 equals to 0. So now you can very well write this equation.
Okay sir. Got it.
It is very simple. You just try it. From first equation also you can get. Y1 is appeared here. So because theta,
One.
now I said this is theta 2, okay? And when you write for theta I equals to 2, this will be theta 1, theta 1, this is theta 2, this is theta 3. Okay, so this is, you can see, and also you have multiplied by negative sign. So this is, now you just focus here. So this is d theta 2, and this is now become minus. So this is minus times theta 3 equals to 0, and this leftover, whatever left, you have just written to the right hand side of the equality. So this is very simple. So this is tridiagonal matrix, as I said, or in next class I will also explain you. So I hope it is clear. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now I think I will stop, or if you have any other questions, please ask.
Sir, is it mandatory to write the diagonal as positive?
Yes, yes. To avoid stability, because we also see in this course the stability analysis in a brief way. So there I will tell you why it is necessary to make this diagonal as positive. If you there you will see that if I make this negative, then whatever be the answers you are getting in the end, those are wrong answers or not reliable answers. So
Okay,
there you will see, I will also give you one very good example, and there you will see that we have considered in the beginning the temperature of the metal plate as 100 degrees Celsius, but in the end we are getting the 200 degrees Celsius, and there is no significance at all how we can get the 200 degrees Celsius. The only reason for that value, wrong value, is that we have not followed the stability criteria, or our diagonal become negative. Okay, we'll see in this course, but for the time being, to avoid the uh, stability problem, we have made this diagonal as positive. Any other question?
Sir, in computing the imaginary point, sir, there
Yes.
were two remedies, sir. Which remedy we will use, sir?
I also
Which?
told this thing in the discussion, but now I am happy to answer this, because no need to sorry, please. This is my job. When I discussing the central differencing, forward differencing, and the backward differencing, I said that at some point of time that we always try to use the central differencing as much as possible, because if you just see in the on the screen, you are having
Yes.
the means remedy 1 is nothing but the central differencing,
Yes.
and central differencing is very easy. Means what we did, we have just replaced the fictitious point with the real point. That's all. And it is very simple to write. And also the accuracy of the solution we kept the same, because everywhere we have utilized the central differencing, that is of order h square order, or second order accurate. And if at the same time I want to use a backward differencing for this problem, then it is really a complicated thing. Okay, so that's why for the remedy 1, no need to remember anything. Just you have to differentiate, do the discretization using central difference, and that is your theta I plus 1 minus theta I minus 1 divided by 2 times delta x equals to 0. And simply simplify this, you will be getting theta m plus 1 equals to theta m minus 1. So I no need to remember this expression.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but the answer is why we have kept it, because we want the overall accuracy of the order of second order accurate. Any other question?
No, sir.
Sir, if we are using accuracy of second order for central differencing at the interior point and using first order accuracy of at the boundary point, can we do like that, or we need to select all the order to be of the same? That means at interior and boundary.
No, you can't select or you can't do like this. The simple reason is that our solution must be as accurate as we can keep it. So if you are using the first order accurate, the same thing, same example, you just see if I have given that example also. If you are keeping the first order derivative here, so your expression of the d theta by dx would be theta m minus 1 divided by delta x square plus order h. So what you did, the overall accuracy of the solution you reduce to h, not h square. So your answers in the end would be less accurate, and we generally don't want the accuracy, or we don't want to compromise with the accuracy of the solution. Or if you want to use the higher order, that also not affect, or means whatever be the lowest accuracy of the expressions, that would be the accuracy of your solution. For instance, you are taking the of order delta x cube, but central difference is of order x square. So in that case also the overall accuracy would be of order second, not of the third. I think you understood what I mean to say.
Yes, sir.
So whatever be the lowest order, your accuracy reduced to the lowest order. Okay, any other question? Okay, okay, now I think I will stop recording.